Hey, what is going on, guys? This is SMB Reviews, and today I want to talk about Rocketman. It's a new movie that just came out. If you haven't heard about it, which I don't know how, it's a biopic about Elton John. And I know I don't really talk about very many movies on my channel, but I did want to talk about this one because it's one I saw actually like pretty soon when it came out. Most movies I end up seeing months later. But yes, we were talking about Rocketman. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the other biopic that got really popular recently. We're going to avoid that one. I want to talk about Rocketman a lot. Taron Egerton plays Elton John in this movie. He does an incredible job. He, in Sing, animated movie that came out a while back, he actually did play a character and covered an Elton John song in that movie. Also, in his own series, Kingsman, Elton John stars in one of the roles. So Elton John and him have a pretty close connection. I believe they're also just personal friends. And honestly, it was surprisingly a really good pick. And that's not an insult to Taron at all. It's just for the fact that they happen to be friends, he was a great pick for it. Because honestly, Taron looks a lot like Elton. Young Elton and Taron, sometimes they would flash pictures on the screen or clips. And I'd sometimes go, wait, is this actually Elton John or is this Taron? And it was surprising how much that similarity came across visually. Now, that being said, he doesn't necessarily sound a lot like Elton John, and not even verbally, because verbally he does, but singing, it really goes away. And that's not an insult to Taron at all. That's not a make or break for this album at all, or this movie at all. But it is something to be said. Furthermore, this movie doesn't necessarily follow the traditional style. It's not just telling Elton John's story. Yeah, there's some story elements, some of the facts of his life, but it's not necessarily really following it too closely. It's more a very fantasized version of his life. We get a lot of very surreal moments where he at one point Taron goes into a pool and they start singing Rocketman at that time, and in that moment he's singing underwater and people come diving in and are all swimming around and they're singing the song. It's a very fantasized version, and on that note, yeah, it's kind of more musically than any other biopic, because yeah, you usually hear like certain other ones you might hear bands playing the songs or whatever, but in this one, while Elton John's character is playing these songs, typically it's more in a musical style, where the audience is telling or is dancing around, everyone else around is dancing around, and it's like a musical. At the very beginning, we have Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. It starts off as Elton John as a boy starts singing the song until he eventually, in the song, grows up into adult Taron Egerton, and at this point, everyone's dancing around, singing, and it's all very much theatricized, and it's different. It is different. Same for, like I said, just the underwater scenes and how they make it very surreal. The whole thing. It's much different, and honestly, I like it. I think it's a really good style for this movie to take. It's different and unique. And Taron does a great job. Like I said, vocally, he sounds really good. Not like Elton John, but really surprisingly great at this. He is really a great singer. He does a great job in this movie. He's funny, interesting, and really does capture your attention. Now, one thing that I'm going to admit kind of bothers me, it's a nitpick. For sure, it's a nitpick. But the songs that come up in the movie aren't necessarily when they're coming up in the timeline of his releases. It's a very small thing, and this again shows that they were more going for a feel. In a song, if there was a time when they needed a song like Tiny Dancer, it's not going to come in the same year that Tiny Dancer was actually released. It just comes up. And some people may like that. Just as someone that likes music, knows a lot about Elton John, I probably would have preferred it to be first album, songs from that, second album, songs from that. And for the most part, and sometimes it would, whenever it's actually a piece, an actual part of the story, such as, because sometimes songs do come up and they're not necessarily the musical style where everyone's dancing around. It's actually Elton John is writing this song, Your Song, one of the earlier songs from Elton John's career. Bernie Taupin wrote it, gave it to Elton John, and he starts playing it on the piano and writes it, and that is early in the story. I do like that. It's just whenever there's the more musical numbers, those songs don't come in the same timeline as they were released. Minor nitpick, I know it is, but it's just something that did kind of bother me whenever really early in the movie they're playing songs that aren't released for years later for Elton John. Whatever, the whole thing is supposed to be very like romanticized, and for that it does a great job, I'm not gonna lie. I think that for viewers, they need to go in less with the biopic kind of mentality, expecting this very factual, educational look at Elton John's life, and more as this stage show, as if Elton John put on a musical about his life. I think that's much more accurate to what this is. And it's a good movie, it really is. It's just, I think that trying to go into it thinking it's going to be a biopic is kind of the wrong mentality. Really good movie, though. Like I said, I did really enjoy it. All the actors did a really good job. It's interesting, and I did learn some about Elton John, because I didn't know a ton about him personally. And it does focus a lot on his personal life rather than just his career, and I think that that's good. I like that. I like focusing on him as a child and his relationships, and it's a great movie. And like I said, Taron Egerton, great job, great singing, really good movie. And honestly, I got a real kick out of the very end, which I won't spoil, though a specific music video is recreated, and I really like that. I really enjoyed the fact that that they took the time to do that comedic kind of aspect to it, just recreating this music video for no real purpose other than just, hey, we can do it. And I liked it. It was really funny. Really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not going to give a rating because I'm not a movie critic and I don't even have any idea what I'd rate it. So, good movie. There, that's the rating. What did you guys think of this movie? Please let me know down below. I really stumbled to say movie because I'm used to saying album. I'm not a movie critic, obviously, and I'm not necessarily judging this for, like, shots or the mixing or the light scale or whatever. I'm not a movie critic. I just came into this being a music fan. That's how I talked about it, and it was a good movie. I really did like it. Really fun, and I had a great time with it. I was really looking forward to it, and I'm glad it did not disappoint. Definitely recommend it. So thank you guys for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. I will see you guys later.